Michael Borison, how are you today?
I'm very good. Nice to see you, Peter.
Good to see you too.
Yeah. Well, we are in the Aavik and Ansuz room, and
Here in Munich.
Here in Munich.
Yep.
We've made some new products, and especially we have an updated line of main distributions.
Okay.
And they use a lot of the technology that we have in the DTC distribution, so they are heavily upgraded and performing absolutely magnificent.
Great.
And sort of filling a void in the big price difference between the former distribution and the DTC.
And the DTC mains 8, yeah.
And also the performance gap has sort of been filled up with three new models.
So you're very busy. Do we have one of them over here by chance?
Yeah. We don't have one in the system. We have one here on passive display.
Okay, let's go take a look.
I can pick up. This is the D2. Yeah, this is the D2 main distribution unit, and it has a lot of the DTC technology inside. And the DTC technology is a technology that takes out the noise of the main system, and it does that in a passive way. And when we put in a test signal of 100 kilohertz spiked, what happens there is that spike gets reduced in size, but it also gets rounded. So when it goes into your input filters of your amplifier, your power supply of the amplifier, that is really supposed to make the AC into DC. When you have high frequency noise going into that power supply, even the slightest capacitance will work as a bleed through. So most of the mains noise is actually bleeding through the power supply of your amp and going in directly into your signal path in your amp. So by reducing the noise in the mains in a non-inductive way is very good. And I say non-inductive is because when you add like a parallel or a serial filter like a common mode or differential mode choke that can also reduce the noise, then you also reduce the amount of instant power you can get through. And we know that this leads to a compressed dynamic range, and you can feel like there's sort of like a lid over everything.
That's a good way of putting it.
So we try to do it in a parallel manner, and we have seen very, very good effect on this. And the different models have different amounts of this noise suppressing elements.
Okay. So this is the mains 2.
This is a D2, yeah.
D2,
yeah.
Got it. Okay.
And it has this as a having mains distribution about not only distributing the power but also distributing the ground. So this is the lowest impedance point on the star ground in this. And when you have electrical components in a system, when you really get a good ground reference between all the components, you avoid ground currents. And when you avoid that, you really make your other signal wires work better, because then they don't have to act like the ground connection between your devices as well.
I understand.
They can only function as a ground for the signal and not necessarily the electrical ground for the components. This is why it's so vital to have a very good grounding system. And you get the good grounding system through a massive ground conductor in your mains wires and a very good star ground in the distribution. And the Ansuz cable has like 10 square ground wire, and that is maybe 6 to 8 times more than you normally have. And that extremely low resistance that we have, low impedance we have in the ground wire, really connects the products really, really well together. And this is a main feature of the Ansuz power distributions and the power system that we have in Ansuz.
Well, congratulations on the new units. The price points are less than the mains 8, I take it, the DTC mains 8.
Yeah,
a lot less.
Yeah, a lot less. They start around 3,000 and
euros and up to 8,000.
Yeah, 3 up to 8,000 euro viewers. So let's see what else we have here in the system, okay?
Yeah, we also, for this year's show, we have introduced a rack. That sort of like completes our mechanical side of the accessories. So now we can put the system up on our own rack. And the rack has like a subframe, aluminium subframe. And inside here there's two discs connecting it. That means that you have a very rigid yet very well damped structure underneath the system. And we can walk in next door later. You can see the subframe by itself.
Okay.
The uprights are made from titanium, and the titanium resonates in a very crisp way. And when you put your system on the racks with the titanium uprights, you get some of that crispiness into the sound. And it's like strings, voices, everything in the midband get an extremely lifelike performance to it. It has this life touch, and we were very shocked when we first put system on this, because we did not expect that a rack could change performance that much.
Oh, I know
But
they
it's-
can.
But it's unbelievable
Yeah.
how good this rack is.
It's profound what racks can do.
Yeah. And it's a very sturdy rack. It has extremely good stability, and it can carry a lot. Yesterday we had a 300-pound guy sitting on top of it. so we know it can carry anything.
So it is actually very
So
reliable.
we know it can carry anything. What you see here is the internals of the rack, and instead of machining this in one piece, I did this in 4 pieces, and put assembly disc on top and bottom of this.
I see.
And that assembly disc creates a different stiffness right at that point. So while it's still very, very, very stiff, you know, you can sit on it and bump it, and it's very, very sturdy and very strong. This, in effect, kills any resonance that is normally associated with having something. It's completely dead. It doesn't have an aluminium sound to it.
No, it does not.
No.
No.
So all you get is the springiness of the titanium in the uprights, and this is what aids the performance of the music. And then of course it's built so we can add multiple layers of the darks in between. This is the aluminium version, and of course you can put in DTC versions of the darks, and it will change performance also quite a bit.
How about that? Well, quite a amount of technology here.
The shelf,
And this shelf goes right on top here.
the shelf is a composite. So we finished it off in black ash, but it has multiple layers in here that are bonded together. So also to create something that is not creating its own vibration by itself.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, good. Well, thank you very much, Michael Orson.
Then of course the cables we use in this system is the D2 cables that we introduced this year. The distribution is a DTC distribution that we also introduced late last year.
Yep, and
So
it was
it's
brought
also-
over. We listened to it
So
2 months
also-
ago.
Quite new.
And we have the U150 up
The
here.
U150. And the U150 is like a full-featured amplifier. It has 300 watt output power. It has a phone stage, and it has a DAC that can handle any format, DSD format as well. So it's a multi-format DAC. Yeah.
Well, that's great. And then what speakers are we going to be listening to today?
Today we played the Rido D1.1, the stand mount, which has over the years developed into sort of like a cult. And I think it's one of the best monitors on the market. So
I think it is too.
we enjoy that a lot.
Well, can we play some music now?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Troubles were churning, trouble with that dress that's as black as my heart on this train. Troubles were churning, trouble with those lips that's as red as the blood in my veins. It's a long way to London Bridge in them heel, babe. It's amazing how much one look can reveal. Yeah. Trouble. You know it. Trouble. Soft target. Trouble, sure, trouble. 'Cause I've been waiting for just one look. Trouble. You know it. Trouble. Soft target.
Wow. I'll tell you, Lars has joined us here in the shot, and you guys, this stand and the new mains technology, the noise is, there is no noise. There's no noise. The dynamics are explosive. They come out of nowhere. And I could hear a difference between this system and the system we filmed 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Uh,
the
it-
Exponent.
Yeah, at Exponent. Lots of immediately lightning fast transients and dead quiet in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is the main difference is, I think in Exponent we had basically the same system, but the rack is a difference in there.
That's right. Yep.
So Lars used to make racks many years ago. Many. I met Lars like in 1997, something like that, in a hot dog stand, where he had the company Aavik producing the racks. And at that time he did a rack with the titanium uprights. And Lars has often said, I still remember that rack, I still remember that rack.
Mhm.
So when we in Ansuz decided that we wanted to build a rack, we had to go at that path. And over the years we have learned different things about dimensions and sizes and heights and width
Yeah.
on materials.
Yeah.
And it seems like every material has a certain size where it works the best.
Mhm.
And this goes back to Dieter Innemoser and his C37 ideas.
Mhm.
But using all these ideas about the correct dimensions paired with the titanium that Lars used to use as his uprights, we created this rack. And I think it adds or does not subtract what racks really do. We don't really know that when we have a poor performing rack, is it because it subtracts something, you miss something, or is it because
it's adding something? Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
maybe this one subtracts less.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah,
Because there's definitely more definition. There's definitely better transients.
Yeah.
And yet, while you get these powerful transients, you don't get any harshness out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just more, and they are very natural sounding. So I think that materials and dimensions are very, very essential to this.
I agree.
And titanium, this crispy, warm crispiness that you get from the titanium is, from these titanium uprights in this rack, is really magnificent.
Well, you've done a great job here. I mean, the viewers, you can hear it yourself. It's clear, crisp, clean, and so realistic. So realistic. So thank you very much, guys.
Thank you for coming.
Yep, thank you for having us.
So-
Thanks.